is David Bazanis. I'm the Executive Director of the Oldham Chamber and Economic Development Office, and welcome to our 8th Annual Celebration of Women. Thank you all for being here. Before we start the lunch line, I'm going to invite Karen Greenwell from City Place up here to bless our meal. Karen?
I love to surprise him. It's hard to do. Welcome to City Place. I'm Karen Greenwell. If we've not met, I'm the administrator of City Place, and we are thrilled that you are here for this very special occasion to honor the celebration of women. And what a beautiful display. Everywhere you look in the room, it does look like spring in here, so that's a wonderful thing, isn't it? But we do welcome you this morning. I wanted to let all of you all know that City Place is really excited to announce that we have new corporate and nonprofit rates. So if you're corporate or if you are a nonprofit and you all are looking at planning events, we'd love to talk with you more about that. Catherine Kukla is at our table over here. We have some folders, and if this is not a good time today, please call and make an appointment, and we'd be glad to talk with you more about that. At this time, let's go to our Lord in prayer. Father, it is with grateful thanksgiving that we come before you, the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings, the Savior of the world. And as we get ready to celebrate Easter, we know that you are alive and well, the risen Lord. Father, thank you so much for the beauty of this gathering, for the opportunity to honor those that work so hard in our community, women who stand strong and work hard and carry so many different plates. They balance them so beautifully. I pray your blessing and anointing on each one and on the gentlemen that are also gathered here to celebrate with us and give support. Thank you, Lord, for the food that's been prepared today. We pray that you would bless that to the nourishment of our bodies and bless the hands that prepared it. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
I'm very proud to work in Oldham County as well, representing PNC, a company that's been ranked for 13 consecutive years among the 100 best companies for working mothers. In my role in private banking with PNC, I take care of affluent clients who have complex needs, and I work with many wonderful women to assist them with their personal banking and just try to make their lives a little easier. However, supporting, connecting, and celebrating women is integral to PNC as a whole. With more than 50,000 employees and over 1,600 certified women business advocates, PNC has a size and reach that allows us to be a powerful proponent for women. This year, partnering with NABO, PNC proudly funded a white paper commemorating the 30th anniversary of H.R. 5050. Now, this was a landmark legislation that paved the way for women to secure business loans without the help of a man. It's hard to believe that right around the time my family moved to Oldham County, women were just starting to have the right to get a loan on their own. We've come very far. PNC's support for female financial decision makers is felt from our company across our footprint and into the communities that we serve. Our status as a small business association preferred lender has allowed us to extend more credit to qualified women business owners. If you're looking for someone from PNC to help you grow your business, please head toward our cake and talk to Tim O'Day. He's a business relationship manager and a certified women business advocate, and he specializes in understanding your business's operating cycle and can help you eliminate pain points and increase your business's cash flow. He also has an offer that if he can't save your business money, you could get up to $1,000 from PNC. Now, I think that's worth hearing about. I'm wrapping up because I'm nervous. But speaking of women in business and working moms, I would really like to recognize Wonder Woman Shannon Quaid. She's the teller supervisor at PNC in LaGrange. She is an extraordinary mother, and she's an entrepreneur herself. She is fully responsible for the tablescapes that we put up every year. She spends her own time and money to make these beautiful pieces, including our cake this year, the intricate dollhouse last year, and the large money trees from 2016 that probably blocked your view. So I'm really happy to have her here today so that we can thank her and celebrate her. Thank you so much to the Oldham Chamber for allowing PNC to be part of this event as the title sponsor today. And I want to thank all of you for allowing us to be part of your lives.
Thank you, Amber. Yes, PNC has been the title sponsor of this event ever since its inception, and we are very grateful for their investment of us. They're also part of our top investor program, and I know we have a lot of top investors in here, but for us to grow as our business community grows, and our chamber services need to grow with it, and we're able to do that with the investment from a lot of our businesses, and there's so many around the room I'd start naming you, but I'm going to get myself in trouble as soon as I do it. But thank you, PNC, and thank you to all of our top investors who are here. If you are interested in finding out some information about being part of that top investor program, we would love to talk to you about it. And we can put together a special package and tailor it specifically to your business, but it's something that really helps us continue to be able to provide the services we do to our business community. So thank you, PNC. There are a lot of people to thank for this event. We have a planning committee, and in addition to Amber and Allie Hirschbrunner, which I only know as Allie, I want to thank them for their time that they devoted to meeting with us and making phone calls to many of you about tickets and tablescapes and helping us come up with a theme. They're always involved and they're always having fun when we're working on these types of things. So thank you to them. In addition to that, we also have Jane Ashley Pace from the Oldham era. The Oldham area has been a part of this since the beginning as well. We appreciate her investment of time and helping us promote this through the Oldham area. So thank you for your commitment to our business community. We also have a board member here, Cindy Harbin, and I don't know if she might be still counting ballots over there, but Cindy is a very engaged board member of ours who has donated a lot of her time, made a lot of calls, and we are very grateful for all of the work that she's done with us too. So thank you, Cindy. But we have had some staff transition over the last several months. And this is one of our biggest events of the year. As a testament to that, this is the largest crowd we've ever had for Celebration of Women. I remember when it first started and we had a handful of tables, and it was a really nice afternoon, and it just seems to grow each year. But a few weeks back, we had some changeover in our staff, and our office manager that many of you have spoken with by now, Heidi Ockeltree, is around here somewhere. This would not have happened without her hard work. She has showed up every day to the office and dug in and worked hard with a smile on her face. And this turnout is a testament to her. So thank you, Heidi, for all that you've done. We appreciate that very much. Look, she won't even look up. She's just going to keep counting ballots. That's how hard she works. I want to thank her for that. We have some elected officials here as well. If you're an elected official serving in Oldham County, would you please stand so we can recognize you? It's no secret that Oldham County is growing by leaps and bounds. Our business community continues to thrive, and that can't happen without having elected officials that are promoting development in this community through infrastructure growth and a lot of necessary programs that we need to just make our community able to accommodate the types of businesses that we would like to see move here. So I want to thank them for their commitment to our infrastructure and to the things that we've been doing, and I enjoy working with them every day. I would like to invite to the stage now our Judge Executive, David Vogel.
It sure seems like a year rolls by quickly, and this event, great event, comes around again. Happy to see more and more men actually showing up at the Celebration of Women. I've heard it said that after women, flowers were the most beautiful thing God made on earth, but they say after women. So, we appreciate all of you. All of us obviously have mothers, sisters, daughters. We're all connected to females. And we're all very grateful for everything they do for us. They say, I've heard it said, if you want an opinion, ask a man. If you'd like something accomplished, ask a woman. And I think these are the women that we have in the room here today, women of accomplishment, women who are out there on the front line doing things, opening businesses and taking part in the community, being proud of who they are and where they live and what we can all do together. As I still have a little bit of training to do myself, because when I walked up to the Oldham era table here when I first arrived, I came from the other direction and I saw that red and blue cape there. And I said, oh, is this Superman? No, it was Superwoman. And so I'm still working on myself. We're all working on ourselves here. But as I was sitting at the table, I was thinking about how many tremendous women that we have in leadership in our community. And if you start to tally the number, you may not realize how many there are. I tried to make a couple of notes while I was sitting there, and if I pass over someone here, please forgive me, because I'm not intending to do that. But you know, we have 3 judges over in our judicial center who are ladies. Our county clerk is a lady. Our PVA director is a lady. The previous county circuit court clerk was a lady. We've had 2 mayors of LaGrange who are ladies, 4 ladies on the LaGrange City Council right now. The chairman of our Board of Education is a lady. We have a very strong lady in our chamber here, Sandy, who is doing a tremendous job. Our county treasurer is a lady. We have a key lady in our planning department sitting right over here in planning and zoning. Leah Campbell is here. She runs Apple Patch. She's a lady, obviously. I don't know any bed named Leah, you know, but we have 3 ladies of 5 are running our library system here. We have a tremendous library in our community. That could go on and on and on. And I've if I've overlooked someone or missed someone who's here today, please forgive me. Mary Broker, chairman of one of our political parties in the county, is a lady. So ladies are accomplishing things. And as husbands, fathers, brothers, and sons, we're proud of all of you. And the equilibrium is being reached further and further every day. I have 2 daughters. No one in this room has promoted their daughters more than I have, and they're as proud of their wife and daughters as I am. So we all have a lot to be thankful for. I thank everybody for coming out here today and helping our county grow. We have a tremendous county, but we're past scratching the surface, but we have a long way to go. We can keep raising the bar, and the best way to do that is all of us working together, hand in hand, and seeing a future and going for it. So thank you for having me here today. I thank you for the fiscal court members. I know that the expressions that I've made today are echoed by all of them. They're all great guys, and they enjoy working with people and appreciate everybody who's come here today. So thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Judge Vogel. We have many sponsors to thank as well. In addition to our title sponsor at PNC, lunch today was provided by Ladyfingers Catering. How was the lunch? Was that great? Our lunch sponsor is Norton Brownsboro Hospital each year, and we appreciate their investment with us as well. The desserts were provided by Magnolia Springs East, and a lot of people don't know that Magnolia Springs has wonderful, wonderful chef that works there, so thank you, Magnolia Springs. And then our welcome sponsors, yes. You also will notice that wandering around here, Teresa has been taking pictures from Tag Studio, and we're excited to have her. We're going to get some good pictures this year so we can use those to promote for next year. So thank you, Teresa, for being here and being our photography sponsor. And then in addition to that, our registration sponsor, Nick Curcio, the best DJ this side of the Mississippi, All-Star Entertainment. And our welcome sponsors, CareSource, Caldwell Banker, McMahon, and Northwestern Mutual. I want to thank everybody for your investment here. Again, that helps us be able to continue to do these types of events. So thank you for that. And I'm going to move now to introduce Jane Ashley Pace from the Oldham area, who's going to talk to you about our Tony Cotton Woman of Distinction Award. Jane?
Thank you, David. As he said, I am Jane Ashley Pace. I am the publisher of the Oldham Era, and it is an honor to stand up here today and take just a moment to remember Tony Cotton. For those of you who knew him or didn't know him, Tony was the publisher of the Oldham Era. He was only here for a few short years, but in that time, he made a big impact on Oldham County. Though I didn't get to know him personally, in my first 6 months in Oldham County, I have heard a lot about him from many of you in the room, about all the wonderful things he did. And one of the things that he leaves behind as a legacy is today's event, which is named in his honor. And when you look around at all the beautiful created tablescapes here, that was his idea that he brought to the table that we are still doing year after year. So I think that's fantastic. He believed very strongly that a newspaper needed to be a vital part of the community they served. And I hope that I can continue his vision and commitment to this county. We have a very special guest today at our table, and I want to take just a moment to recognize her, and you all join me in giving her a warm welcome, Tony's wife, Tina, as we remember Tony.
Thank you, Jane. Yes, Tony was on our first Celebration of Women committee, and he actually was the person who brought the idea of tablescapes to it. So everything that you see here today is because of him, and I miss him. He was with us a short time, but he was very invested. We saw him every day. He got engaged with our business owners and really cared about what it was that he was doing. So we are very happy to honor him with this award, and I think that this is a wonderful way to do that. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our 2018 Woman of Distinction. This award has been going to someone who has been dedicated to our community through their service and work over the course of their life. From Operation Parent, Jean Shum had won. Joyce Fletcher, who I've seen around here, also won last year. We're excited. Thank you, Joyce, for coming. And this year is no different. We have someone who has dedicated her life to serving others in this business community, our school system, and has been heavily invested in women's issues all around, not just Oldham County, but this region at large. She's been a board member or committee member of our Chamber of Commerce, the YMCA, United Way, the Metro United Way. She's worked on the Relay for Life. She's been involved with the Oldham County Educational Foundation, the Kentucky Arts Commission, the Oldham County Arts Commission, Project Guild in LaGrange. She's a past president of the Oldham County Republican Women's Club. She's part of the Oldham County GOP. She ran for the state senate in 1990 and has been a poll worker in almost every election since 1988. She's been part of the Oldham County Ethics Commission. She's a volunteer at a church as a marriage mentor and runs various Bible studies and is part of the Heaven's Angels motorcycle group. She's part of the Young Women's Club from 1964 to 1980, the Women's Club of Louisville from 2000 and on. She's been part of the Udell Gardens Board of Directors. She's a Kappa Alpha Theta sorority graduate of University of Kentucky, but we won't hold that against her. She's been a volunteer etiquette instructor, worked with the Kentucky Derby Festival, the Louisville Orchestra, and I literally have pages and pages of things here to say about her. But we are excited to have her be our 2018 recipient of the Tony Cotton Woman of Distinction Award. Would you please make her feel welcome, Miss Mary Broker.
Thank you. I found out about this on Tuesday, and when I walked in today, I thought, I wonder if I'm supposed to say anything other than thank you. But, you know, I grew up on a farm. I had to hoe tobacco. I rode horses. I showed cattle. My father, it's probably, if he were here, it'd still remind me. One year I gave my steer a Tony. If you don't know what a Tony is, it's a permanent. Because I got tired of curling his hair every day. Anyway, that's just a little bit about my background. I've loved living in Oldham County. We've been here for 50 years in the same house. We love it. We have cattle. And I guess the one thing I enjoyed most, for 40 years I had a small camp, and some of you here I know came to the camp, and some of you are here that maybe sent your kids to my camp. It was small. I only took 16 children, and we had a wonderful time. I hated to give it up. So, but I thank you for this honor. It's really an honor, a surprise, a total surprise, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you for what you've done in Oldham County. We're very proud to have you as part of this community. Well, at this point, we're going to be a little bit more, we'll raise some levity here and go through our Tablescape Awards. This award presentation is meant to be fun, and we really, again, I want to thank everybody who has been invested here with their time and creativity on these tablescapes. The award sponsor for this event is L&N Federal Credit Union, as they have been every year, so thank you guys for being sponsors for our event. The votes have been counted. And let's go People's Choice first. So the People's Choice Award for the best tablescape has been awarded to Main Source Bank. I want to thank Okay, and the most creative winner is PNC Bank. And then the best representation of the theme, which the theme is Wonder Women. The best representation of a theme goes to Cub Bank. Thank you, Cub. And last but not least, the best representation of their business, this award goes to East and Westbrook Construction. So. I just want to acknowledge that Flynn may be the only male who did their own tablescape, all right? So thank you, Flynn, for representing men at this event. Thank you very much. And thank you, L&N. Okay, at this point, we're going to start our panel discussion. Our panel sponsor is Forest Springs Health Campus, and Allison and the Forest Springs team is here, so thank you again for being part of our event. Our MC for this event is somebody near and dear to my heart. It's our assistant director from our office, Sandy Hamilton. Sandy has only been with us a short time. It hasn't even been a full year that she's been here, and we've experienced so much extraordinary change just by having her expertise in our office, and we're very grateful to have her. For those of you that don't know her, she was born and raised here in LaGrange, Kentucky, and she has been an economic development professional who's worked in retail and commercial development for the last 30 years all over the country at a very high level. Locally, you'll be familiar with some of her work as she leased out Oxmoor Mall, Springhurst Shopping Center, and is responsible for Trader Joe's being in Louisville. So thank you, Sandy, for that. We are, yes, Trader Joe's, right? Cheap wine, it's good. We are excited to have her in office. She brings her expertise to our office at a time where our community is booming, and she has hit the ground running. So I am very fortunate to be able to work with her and also call her a friend. So she is the daughter of Bruce Hamilton, a former Commonwealth attorney. So many of you might know Sandy from long ago, but we're happy to have her working in our chamber and happy to have her as our MC to announce our panelists. So please welcome Sandy Hamilton.
Well, this is my first celebration of women, and I clearly didn't expect to be at the podium. But when we started planning this event, David said, you know, you got to do something, you got to speak. And I was like, I can't possibly get up there and talk. I have nothing to say. You know, what am I going to say? And I kept trying to convince him that I'm not the right person. But he didn't buy that, and I look around in the room and I know a lot of people are old friends, and I have family, like mom sitting over there and everything. So I agreed to do it. I'm standing here, but just to let you guys know, a little secret, since he mentioned Dad, I had a nickname at a very young age, and it was called Gums. So, and that was because I was always flapping my jaws. And the second thing Dad did was tell me that my mouth was going to get me in trouble. So I won't comment on whether that has or has not, but I'm just going to hope it doesn't get me in trouble today, okay? So on that note, I'm going to introduce our panelists, and I've been practicing Amy's name for 24 hours, so I'm going to try it. But Amy Elam Cruzan is with Rawlings Group. She's Assistant Vice President of Legal Services for the Rawlings Group and the coordinator of Audit in the Pharmacy Division. And as many of you know, Rawlings is the county's largest employer. We're very proud of the Rawlings Group. They have 1,500 employees and are growing by the month. And we're sitting in a place that was the generosity of Mr. Rawlings. We office at City Place, as Karen mentioned, and so we love being associated with Mr. Rawlings and the Rawlings Group and what he's contributed to the community. Amy joined Rawlings in 2010, and she works with insurance carriers, providers, and employer groups coordinating benefit issues. After graduating law school from University of Tennessee, and as a UK fan, that's really hard to say. But anyway, she has been both in private practice and done creditor and bankruptcy work with union organizations in her past. She went to undergrad at Transylvania University, and she resides in Louisville with her husband and her 2 children. So let's welcome Amy up to the stage. Okay, our second panelist is Jana Bailey, and she comes to us as the CEO of a company called FranNet. She has over 30 years of experience in the banking and franchise industry. And FranNet is a company that matches, if you will, the franchisee and the franchisor. Okay, so she's putting people together to do business. She joined FranNet in 2006 and was promoted throughout her tenure there and was made CEO a few years ago. And during her time there, she's doubled the presence of FranNet both in North America and expanded it to Europe. So she's written a book called Thriving: The Journey to Success in the Business World, and we're thrilled to have Jana as part of the panel today too. Okay, last but not least, our third panelist is Virginia Snell Brown. Virginia has been an Oldham County resident since 1982, at which time she joined White, Tarrant and Combs Law Firm in Louisville, became a partner in 1986. She currently chairs the firm's appellate advocacy practice, and focuses personally on corporate appeals representing clients mainly before the Kentucky Supreme Court. She recently won an award that is a real honor. She was voted #1 lawyer in Kentucky by her super lawyers for 2018. It's an honor in itself, but the extra part is she was the first female to receive this award. So that's an honor in itself. But she's also served many years on the Oldham County Library Board, both as president when they built the new building. She's currently vice president. So she is married to Bob Brown, who's over there at the Wyatt table, who is enjoying retirement from the Wyatt firm. And in full disclosure and transparency, she's my sister. So she had no choice but to accept this request. So come on. Mainly because my main focus is the economic development sector of my job and trying to bring amenities to the county that we're constantly asked for and we want to hear about. I'm going to throw the first question out to Jana because of my past in the retail and development industry. I'm curious to know, Jana, with the retail environment being affected by the internet, has the dynamic of franchising operations changed? Has there been an increase, decrease in people buying franchises, operating them? How has that been affected? Because I know how it affected my former industry.
Franchising has proven to be very dynamic and flexible because franchising continues to grow. There are over 3,100 concepts in the franchise industry, and there's about 250 that join the franchise world every year. So what we see with the changes as far as retail, we're seeing a lot of service-based businesses go into retail, whether it's a massage, Elements Therapeutic Massage is one you might think of, or a hair care. These are services the internet cannot compete with. Also, you're seeing things now like a lot of personal exercise. Title boxing is one of the concepts we work with, and the 9-round where you go and you do the kicking. I'm a little old to be kicking, so I just stick with my little treadmill. But there are all of these services that are taking up retail space. So it doesn't have to be the traditional retail we think of. And a lot of our clients are actually looking for those low-cost retail type businesses, even though it's not the traditional bricks and mortar we think of.
Okay. Yes, I know as I came to a close in my former life, the retail sector was really winding down, and it was, as you all probably read and heard, the shopping centers are losing tenants and department stores. So our world is really changing. But
it has, and I think what you're going to see is a replace. It's just a change. It's going to be a shift.
Yeah. Okay. The next question I'm going to direct to Virginia and ask if you could go back in time, what is some advice that you would give yourself as a young professional?
Well, I think, is this on?
Yes, it's
Everybody
on.
hear me? Okay. I think one of the most important things, and this would be true in law and probably in other businesses, I mean, when you get out of school and you've got your degree as a young professional, I think it's very important to identify someone you admire. And this could be true in any aspect of life. I mean, look around, talk to people, figure out who's the best at doing what you want to do, and talk to that person, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Do things, I guess in your free time that relate to your profession. Get involved in the community. Get yourself out there, not only to do good work, but also to develop your people skills, your judgment, on top of all the academic stuff that you've learned. And I guess the hardest part, for me personally, I suppose if I was talking to myself, I guess I'd call it the fear factor. On one hand, fear is healthy. On the other hand, it's something you really need to get over and not be afraid to make a mistake. Because I know I was scared to death to make a mistake. And then, and I think this goes beyond the law. The first years you start working, those first, say, 5 years, I think would be true in the law firm, work really hard, because that's when you're establishing your reputation. And once you've got that reputation, then you're able to have more flexibility and develop even fuller. And I think it's for women especially, and I see this now, when women have children and start families, when they're young professionals. I've got friends at the firm, they work very hard. I mean, it is nonstop. They're working very hard to develop themselves as young lawyers, and they've also, as soon as they get home, they're taking care of the little ones and trying to do it all, and they do it all. And I see more and more, that the partners that they have are stepping in. It's really a partnership, and in that way, I think it's really changed. I mean, when I started practicing, you saw the traditional husband-wife type family relationship, and many of those male lawyers had wives who were not working. I mean, this is in the early 1980s, and it's hard. It was hard at the time. I hesitate. I mean, it makes me sound so old. I don't want to say it's easier now, but I sometimes feel that way when I'm talking to my young woman friends.
Well, that kind of leads me into another one of the questions that I'm going to address to Amy, because Virginia touched on it, and that is how do you balance the work life and your family life, since you do have 2 teenage kids, and work hard and have had the career that you've had?
I think that the first thing that I would recommend for anybody who's struggling with work-life balance is to be really patient and understanding with yourself. My mom was fortunate enough to be able to stay at home the whole time I was growing up. So the example that I had of motherhood was this mother who came to every single school party I ever had, and she stitched little, Christmas stockings to go with the candy canes that we delivered to every classmate every year, and the house was always immaculate, and it was wonderful, and it was a great childhood, and that was what she had wanted to do with her life. So fast forward to when I get out of school, and I've been working in a firm for about 7 years, and I decide to have my first child. And in my brain, that was how you were a mom. You had to be able to do every single thing perfectly. And if your house was messy, that was a personal reflection on you. And at some point, I just kind of had to get over some of that and forgive myself for not being able to do, even though I was doing it all, to know what it is that's really important and prioritize. Because coming home from working a very, engaging profession, and if all you do is worry about how your house looks or having everything perfect, you're not getting to spend time with the family that you're working so hard for. So I think that in terms of work-life balance, I've really had to step back and say, this is what I can do, and this is what's realistic. And so I may not be at every school party, but if they need somebody to come speak on career day, I'm your girl. I'll be there, and just cut myself some slack and figure out what does have to be done every single day. And if I can get that done, then I go to bed at night and I wake up the next morning and you do it all over again.
Yeah, okay. This one is going to be addressed to actually all three of you. So speak up, whoever would like to, because I think it's an interesting topic. But the question is, how do you find the integration of the millennial affecting the workplace? Have you noticed the change in what we know? And I'm trying not to sound old here also. But have you noticed a change in the way the quote, corporate world has changed with the integration of our younger employees and workers, or whatever you want to call them?
Yeah.
And Amy looks like she's ready.
This has actually been a topic that we've talked about a lot at Rawlings Group, because so much of our workforce is younger and considered the millennial generation. And I think one of the things that's kind of eye-opening for someone who grew up and kind of became a professional earlier than that is that a lot of the values of what they look for and what leads to job satisfaction for them are very different than what I thought of coming out of school. Millennials are much more concerned with some of the intangible aspects of work. Things like having communities and networking within their jobs, having some flexibility about their schedule, having a certain type of corporate culture. Whereas when I was starting in the workforce, it was kind of the culture was what it was, and you either got on board or you didn't, and you looked for a different type of job with a different type of culture. And so I really think that the impact of these incredibly bright, that's the other thing, when you work with millennials, these folks are so smart, and they are so on top of knowing technology and knowing those things that they are having a huge impact on how we do business and on how we've had to kind of change our corporate culture to make sure that we were attracted to that particular part of the workforce.
Yeah, I'm pleased to say I've got 3 of our millennials with us today for the luncheon, and I'm so proud of them and what they do bring to the workforce. It is an adjustment. I'm the baby boomer, that grew up, and growing up in banking, I had to wear a suit every day, and we weren't even allowed to wear slacks originally. It was, I was a banker, and it looked like a man's suit with our little string ties and the whole bit. So. And you worked really, really hard. And I was a single mom at the time, so I was competing against people who had that spouse to help support, but I was expected to be at every event and do everything. And the millennials are bringing balance to us because they're helping us take a step back and look at. We do quarterly events where we get out, and a couple of months ago, they wouldn't let me go to this one, but it was axe throwing or something, so they kept me at the office. But it was, they had a lot of fun. But, we try to do something like that to bring more of a family environment. And I tell the young ladies that work with us that are moms, don't ever, ever miss one of those events at school. Don't come to work when you've got a sick kid and you're worried about it. I've been there and done that, and it's not worth it. And I hope these young ladies that as they grow into the management roles will take that even further. And that as women in the workforce, we can bring more of the family, of the caring, of the warm and fuzzy that wasn't there when those of us as baby boomer women came into the workforce. So I love what they're doing for us.
Yeah, good. Virginia?
I agree with all that. I know I have, heard, like in the media or something, I mean, that maybe the work ethic is somehow different for millennials, and that's not true. I mean, I think they work just as hard, but the point about the intangibles, I think, is exactly right. I mean, I've even heard like a second-year lawyer say something like, well, okay, I mean, they won't get upset about maybe the raise wasn't as big as they thought it was going to be, but the fact that the partner didn't say anything about great job done, here, why don't you and your husband go to dinner on us? I mean, just the little things, the recognition, respect, and appreciation. And I guess the one difference that you would see between the way it is now and the way it was like 20 or 30 years ago is they expect it, and we're just darn pleased to give it because they do a good job.
Yeah. One of the that kind of leads to something that also has been in the media a lot is that graduates from college now have a difficult time in finding a job, and I've heard it's especially apparent in the legal field that the graduates from law school are having a difficult time getting their first job. And Virginia's been part of the recruiting committee and headed it up for Wyatt Tarrant Combs. So what's your feedback on that?
It's changed tremendously, and I don't think my firm in this market is any different than others. I mean, I was the hiring partner for over a decade and very involved in recruiting, and the 2008 just slammed the legal profession, mainly because it slammed a number of our clients, and obviously the spillover effect and that, I guess when that happened, hiring just across the board right out of law school, it just went down tremendously. I think that in fact 1 year, at least in the Louisville office, we didn't hire any new lawyers right out of law school. Now that's different from laterals, where you might have a lateral need and it's somebody that's not a graduate. That has changed, I'm glad to say. I mean, that hiring has gotten better and better. But the last time I looked at the stats, enrollment at the law schools was down. It started to go down in 2008, 2009. It's picking back up. And you see graduates looking, which is a smart thing to do, at all the opportunities available for being a lawyer. I mean, it's not, you don't have to do private practice. You can be public defender, prosecution. There's great jobs with the state and in public government, in private practice, teaching. I know we've got a professor from U of L here with us. I mean, so a law degree is very valuable, not only for practicing law, but for other things. But the hiring is very different. There's more lateral hiring, and some corporate clients, I mean, I don't know what the practice of my friends here on the panel, but like firms, some corporations do not want to pay for first-year students because first-year students don't know how to do much. They haven't been practicing, and they feel like corporations feel like, well, I'm paying for the learning curve, and I don't want to do that. I want someone that has a little more experience in the area that I'm in which I need help.
Amy, have you felt any of this difficulty in the job search come up?
I do know that when we put out hiring notices and hold our public job fairs, that the pool of applicants that we see and the number of people coming in with degrees, I mean, it is just amazing how many very qualified people that we get to come through the doors and talk to us. And so there is a large pool of folks looking for kind of the next step into the professional world, and it can be very difficult because you do have people that are their first year out of school versus someone who may have come from another part of the healthcare industry, which is our company is very involved with the healthcare insurers. So we do see that there's a lot of pressure, and so many more people now, maybe even than 20 years ago, go ahead and get their full degree.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of college graduates out in the marketplace looking. So
Well, yeah.
I was going to say, what we tell people is try to find a way to distinguish yourself, work on your communication skills, get some of the, mentoring or, interning type experience that Virginia talked about while you're still in school, because being able to come in with some work experience in addition to your degree can be really huge.
One thing to note about Rawlings is that they came to LaGrange back in 2005 with about, I think it was 500 employees. And they today have over 1,500 and intend to add 40 employees every 2 months. So with the goal to be at 2,000 employees by 2020. So they stay very busy trying to find good people and hire.
Yeah, so if you have a degree, please just come and see us, because we'll probably want to talk to you.
Okay, well, I think I'm getting the signal that it's time to sort of wrap up so that we can bring this to closure, and we certainly thank everybody for being here. I think David's on his way up to help bring this to closure, and we'll thank our panel, and most of all, thank you all for coming.
Thank you, everybody. Please be safe going home, and thanks for spending the afternoon with us. We appreciate you being here and look forward to doing it again next year. So thanks a lot.